Hi guys, welcome back, and this time around I'm bringing you the brand new Kefine Klean. This is their latest release, a single DD from a brand that has made it very clear from the get-go that they are not going to maybe follow the route that many other brands follow, which is launch multiple IEMs and want to play the numbers game, but rather launch or release few IEMs, and all of them have certain characteristics, which is a high quality, high level of build quality, a very high-end type of sound, or an attempt to have a very high-end type of sound, and so make the products kind of unique, make the products something that you will be probably listening to them in still 5 years time, if that is the case. Anyway, that philosophy initially began with the Kleanar, which was a planar IEM that they decided to have as their first product. It followed a kind of a tuning which was more of the DD similarity type of sound, so a warmer type of tonality overall in that for that planar. And it is a nice IEM. I mean, it's one of those IEMs that if you are looking for a pure planar experience, it will provide it, but it's not going to have the 100% pure characteristics of a planar IEM, in the sense of having all that space and so on and so forth. It is got it. It's been well done. It's been well executed. It's got a fantastic build quality. It's got a competitive price. And it will have its market. It is an IEM that will that will follow along the lines of things like the RTT10 or the F1 Pro from a nice HK, or like I reviewed recently, the Escort Luna, or the KZP PRX, that kind of sound. Anyway, they then followed that up with their first single DD, which was a Delci, a phenomenal IEM, and one of my favorite IEMs. The Delci, along with the original Simgot EA500, are still to this day two of my favorite single DDs under $100. Phenomenal sounding IEM, truly a phenomenal sounding IEM. It's got a particular sound signature, very smooth, a very nice bass, but it's a very nice sounding IEM. That's the reality. They then improved on that original Delci with the Delci AE, which basically had the introduction of exchangeable nozzles, thus providing two types of tunings, one which was almost identical to the original Delci, and then one which gave it a little bit more life, a little bit more forward mids and vocals and so on and so forth, for those that prefer more that brighter type of more forward kind of sound. Anyway, they've now released the Klean, and that Klean is following the same philosophy of the Delci AE, which is it's got exchangeable nozzles. It's also got a very high quality shell, not CNC machined like the Delci, but also a very nice high quality metal shell, and it also shares what seems to be a similar driver to the one used in the Delci. It's also a DLC driver. There's a slight variance in the overall characteristics, impedance, sensitivity, and so on and so forth, but it's a very similar driver, and the reality is when you listen to it, you do find that it's got a lot of the same vibe, a lot of the same timbre, same tonality, same presentation as the Delci has. The box, it is what it is. I'm not going to bother you with that. Simple, straight to the point, no frills. Inside we have a case, again, simple, straight to the point, hard. I mean, it's simple. This is nothing, that is custom or anything. And then inside we have a few tips. I'm actually using the stock tips. They work fine. And then we have the exchangeable nozzle terminations. One has a black kind of filter on the front of it, and the other one, which is one I've got on, it's got, as you can see there, a silver termination. The cable, again, is the cable that we've already seen in the Delci. It's a nice cable. I'm not using the stock cable, by the way. I'm actually using an XI-NHS cable. Sorry, an IVPIQ cable. This one is an IVPIQ. And I'm just using it for the sake that I just like it. That's it, period. I mean, no other special reason. Yes, it is a better cable than the stock cable, but the stock cable will do the job perfectly. In terms of price, this costs under $50. This is actually $49. I got this particular unit straight from directly from Kefine. But HiFiGo, as from what I've seen, or right now the one company carrying them. So you know, if you're eventually interested in getting them, you know, have a look at HiFiGo. Like I said, the shell, metal shell, it's got a nice weight to it. You know, the overall build is phenomenal. It's got kind of like a pattern on the faceplate, which I don't know, kind of simulates carbon fiber or something of the sort. I can't really tell. It's a dark, well, black shell. You can see some venting in the back here. Okay, fits beautifully. No issues with the fit. Stays on, be it with this cable or the stock cable. So in terms of the overall build, the quality, the weight, you know, it ticks all the right boxes. It's as simple as that. It ticks all the right boxes. What did I then decide to bring out to kind of well, compare, position, place, or help give you guys a general idea of what this is all about. I've selected some IEMs some of you might know, some of you might not be aware of them. And there's one IEM here which is an outlier, which I'm sure those of you that are a little bit more savvy will probably have already picked up on it. Anyway, on the top corner there, I've got the Celest Pandamon 2. Next to that, I've got the oh my god, the XSL from the X1 LM version. An IEM which its claim to fame is the fact that it uses the same driver as the MIM Dark Magician. Next to that, an IEM that not many people have heard about and kind of went already forgotten, which is the Pula PA01. Next to that, the INAWAKEN Dawn, which is a new release. On this second row, I've got another IEM which has also become very much forgotten, which is the TinHIFi T2 DLC, probably one of the better IEMs that TinHIFi has made. Next to that, again, an IEM that I recently reviewed, and it's the latest EPZ, the Q5 Pro. Next to that, the Simgot, the EW200. Next to that, the TRN, the Concha, which again has made a lot of noise because, you know, I will say this openly, it is the best IEM that TRN has made to date, without any question. Okay, and then in this front row, I've got obviously the Delci. I didn't bring out the Delci AE because I thought it was pointless. I've got here the Delci, obviously the Klean, the Tanchjim for you, and then the KZ PRX, which is the one that is the outlier. Yeah, I could have used the S-Core, I could have put here the Lunar as well. But I just said to myself, look, you know what, I'm just going to put here the KZ. It is what it is. It's not because it's the KZ. It's just because it's the one that well, it just sounds very similar. That's the reason, the main reason. Anyway, in terms of value or price, like I said, this is about $50. And starting on the top there, the Pandamon is about the same, $55. The XSL, the X1 LM, $55 roughly. The Pula, when it was available, I think you might still be able to get it about the same value, roughly $50. The INAWAKEN, the Dawn, again the same thing, $50. So up to now, very similar here. The T2 DLC, I've seen a few still online, and they priced at about $55, $60. So a little bit more really well, a little bit more, basically still within the same reason. The Q5 Pro, $60. The EW200, $40, just under $40 actually. The TRN, the Conch, $35 roughly, so cheaper. The PRX, $45, and then these two are the ones that are the most expensive ones. This is roughly $65, almost $70, so about $50 to $20 more expensive, and the Delci around the same thing as well. Like I said, this is not for me to say, okay, this is the best, this is the worst. I've tried very hard in my reviews lately to make that perfectly clear. All of these IEMs have got specific characteristics, specific premises in terms of the tuning. They will please more a certain crowd of people, will please less other crowd of people. But there is kind of a few things which are, let's say, differentiating here. The Celest, the XSL X1 are probably the two IEMs out of all of these which are the more darker sounding ones. Okay, yes, the X1 LM does have the exchangeable nozzles, which will allow it to become a little bit more brighter sounding. I've actually got the silver, the silver, well, let me just confirm so I don't mislead you guys. Yes, the silver termination, which is the one that gives a slightly more emphasized mids, so a little bit brighter. But those are definitely the two darker ones. The Pula has got that type of signature, which has got a very slow rise in terms of the pina, a very extended, so kind of the mids become a little bit more laid back. It's a very nice sounding IM. I liked it from the first go that when I initially got it. You know, again, like I said, it's got its peculiarities, it's got its particular things about the sound. The Dawn, like I recently reviewed, and I said, fantastic sound. It's got a really nice sound. I reviewed it together with the EPZ, and basically what I said was the differentiating thing here was that the EPZ would please those that are a little bit more technically inclined, that want a little bit more twinklies and sparklies, while the Dawn would suit those that want a more warmer tonality. The T2 DLC mids are phenomenal in this AM and IN, very nice sounding AM. EW200, very much the same thing, so mids and treble are really well executed. It kind of has very much the sound of the EA500, but with a little bit more bass, of the original EA500, by the way, not the LM version. The TRN, what can I say? So much has been said about it. Just a very nice sounding IM. I mean, the TRN, the EW200, and the Q5 Pro, the Q5 Pro, yes, they've got a very similar sound. Very similar sound. The Conch has got another peculiarity, which is the fact that it's also got those exchangeable nozzles, so it makes this tremendous value for money. Actually, these four IMs, if I have to be totally honest, they all have a very similar sound. The difference here is basically in the bass, where this has got the least amount of bass, and then these three have got basically the same bass. Okay. And then here in the front, we got the Delci from the Kefine Delci, the Tanchjim for you. This has got nothing. It's just straightforward. Nothing. No. It's got that specific tuning in terms of the mids, upper mids, and treble, which is very relaxed, very smooth, with a nice emphasis on the sub bass, and so it gives a very nice, warm, cozy type of presentation. But the bass is not slow. The bass is fast. It's clean. It's detailed, and it rumbles, and it's, you know, it's for good reason that I consider this one of the better single DDs under $100. The Tanchjim for you, it's got its claim to fame. It's got this adjustable switch, if you want to call it that way, which will basically alter the bass profile, making it leaner or more, let's say, warmer sounding. In the setting that I have, which is the one that I like the most, it has a sound which again makes these four IMs sound very similar. And the commonality between these four years, be it the Delci, the Clean, the 4U, or the PRX, is they have got a very well mannered upper mids and treble. Okay, if these here might perhaps at times come across as maybe a little bit overly energetic, a little bit overly emphasized, and might become a little bit tiring for some people. I personally didn't find that way. These ones here have got a very nice extension, but it's a very well mannered extension. And you know, Up and Up from Jeff Bryan, for example, is a song with maybe in these four, to some of you, that song might come across a little bit too intense, but with these ones, it's controlled. It's not emphasized in any manner. The four on the top there, those two, like I mentioned, the Celest and the XSL, are the darkest sounding ones, while the Pula and the INAWAKEN kind of, I would say probably the INAWAKEN would maybe make more sense to be included in this group here, ultimately. Anyway, what can I then say about the sound of the Clean? It's got the two nozzles, like I mentioned. The one nozzle gives it a profile which is more kind of harmonish, which will be more similar to the Tanchjim, the 4U. a little bit more energetic than the Delci. The Delci is significantly more laid back, while the second nozzle termination gives it definitely then that more forward type of mid presentation. So you are able to then have two signatures, much like the Delci AE had. So for those that maybe are liking more forward mids, more forward vocals, a little bit more emphasized instruments, you know, that would be the nozzle to go for, with a black kind of filter on it. Otherwise, the silver filter, it gives you that smoother, more laid back kind of sound, which is the sound that I personally prefer. Listening to things like, for example, Home from Dominic Phil Aim, or Against the Wind by Victory, or Girl in the Red Dress by Greggy Karukas, are songs that very much straight away show the high fidelity of the Klean. It is a high fidelity kind of reproduction. It plays, it gives those songs the desire, the necessary atmosphere, the necessary energy to make them sound very, like I said, hi-fi. And the best way that I can kind of try and explain what I'm trying to say is, you listen to those songs on the Pandamon and it sounds fine, but you feel that it sounds maybe a little bit closed in, a little bit lifeless to a certain extent. Okay, when you go and you listen to that song in any one of these here on the second row, the T2 DLC, the Q5, the EW200, or the Conch, and you might get the perception that maybe it's been overly emphasized. So you've boosted unnecessarily somehow the mids, upper mids, and treble, and it gives you a false presentation of air. Okay, this is me now taking things to an extreme so you guys can understand. When you listen to that song, for example, in any one of these four, you have what I personally consider the more realistic presentation. It's airy to the right amount. It's got the right amount of energy, the right amount of tonality, the timbre, everything. Everything just comes together very nicely. Okay, let me see here something. Fall Again from Glenn Lewis. It's basically a male vocal, the whole song. Once again, you have that same feeling that I was just mentioning. You listen to it in the Klean or the Delci, in the For You, and even the PRX, and it just sounds very natural. Okay, it just sounds very easy. It's any one of these four, and you know what, the Dawn as well. Give that song or play back that song in a very unfatiguing type of manner. Okay. When you listen to that song in these ones here, personally, myself, Tony, okay, I didn't find them to become fatiguing in any aspect. Maybe, you know, the fact that I'm not having already the same hearing ability that I used to have when I was younger. Yes, you feel that brightness, that detail, all the twinklies and those sparklies. You know, the EW200, the Conch, they do it phenomenally well. So does the Q5 Pro. But it's if you have to maybe nitpick and differentiate, these sound, let's say, colored. The T2 DLC, because of the fact that it's got a little bit less bass energy, it sounds thin. With this particular song, it just sounds a little bit, there's something missing. Piano in the Dark from Brenda Russell. Again, you know, pianos, and the way the piano comes across, be it the PRX, be it the For You, be it the Klean, be it the Delci, even the Dawn, it's very realistic. Okay, on again these four, it sounds equally as nice. I'm not gonna deny it doesn't. It does, but you just have that sensation that, okay, it's been just a little bit overly emphasized to give you that sensation of maybe like sometimes it's done on certain IEMs when they tune the upper end, when they overly energize the upper end to give that sensation of soundstage. That's the feeling that you get on the XSL X1 and on the Pandamon. They sound. The piano sounds a little bit lifeless. Okay, If I go the other extreme, and if I go for something which is more, let's say, like I like listening to, by the way, if I go for some EDM, like Dysphonic, Anxiety, or the Love Box, or Urban Heatwave, I mean, there's plenty energy in the Clean to satisfy and to give those songs as well the desired energy that they have, the desired impact. The bass is clean, it's detailed, it's got the right weight. I will say that yes, the Delci does have a little bit more weight, but again, that's more down to the fact that it's not as energetic in the mids, upper mids and treble as the Clean, than necessarily this not being capable of doing the same thing. Okay, male and female vocals, like I've mentioned, in my opinion, are perfectly executed. There's really nothing I can point negatively towards it. Instruments, again, guitars, they come across natural, realistic. Any wind instrument, string instruments, everything really nice, really nice. Nothing to be pointed there as a negative aspect. In terms of its technicalities, soundstage, yes, I will admit that if you use the other nozzle, it does give you a little bit bigger soundstage, but at the same time, you start falling already within this type of kind of sound that some of you might consider a little bit maybe overly colored, overly energetic, and that can maybe lead to some sort of fatigue. Imaging is fine with both nozzles. Detailed retrieval, again with the black filtered nozzle, it's a little bit more, there's a little bit more detail, a little bit more twinklies and sparklies. The micro details are more there, but this, in my opinion, with the silver nozzle, still sounds more realistic, and there's more than enough detail there. I didn't in any point, at any point that I say no, it doesn't have enough details, it's loose, no, nothing. So technically, I think it is an IM that will satisfy both crowds. The crowd that are technically more enthusiastic, that want a high level of enthusiasm in terms of energy and so on with it in the technical department. But on the other side, it will also satisfy those that yes, the technicalities are important, but the musicality above all is what they pay more attention to, which is my case. And that, I think, already in a way summarizes very much the reason why I liked the Clean from the get-go. It is a very musical IM. It is a very easy IM to like because the musicality that it has, it's been perfectly done. So it's an IM that I think will please a very wide variety of people. If there are IMs here that will be maybe tailored for a specific crowd, like something like the XSL or the Pandamon, there will be a specific crowd of people that will like those IMs. I mean, like I said again, on the Pandamon, let's remember one thing. It's the other one here that uses an alternative driver, okay, that square SPD driver. So when you take that into account, and you then, let's say, accept its flaws, much like you have to do on a planar, you can't fault it. That's the reality. You really cannot fault it. And I think, if you don't own anything like that, maybe yes, it would be an interesting IM to have in your collection as a basis of comparison. So that SPD driver and the way that it's been executed there, very nice. The premise, the idea that Celest, that Chimera had for that has been well done. But when you take, the Pandamon 2, you listen to what I've been mentioning, and you go on to, for example, something like the EW200, I'm sure more people will like the EW200 because it adds that extra amount of energy, not only in terms of the bass weight, in terms of the upper mids and treble, that there sometimes lacks and makes it just a little bit, let's say, bland. And when you go then from something like that to the Kefine, to the Clean, you get the same sensation. You get that this is got everything in just the right amounts, in the right proportion, and just overall becomes or provides a sound which is just that little extra more polished than what we get in the EW200. It's not a huge difference. I'm not saying now, oh, you got an EW200 and you must sell it and must go buy a Clean. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if you were to decide between the two, if you asked me, Tony, which one would you buy, I would buy the Klean. Why? Because not only does the Klean provide the ability or the versatility of having two nozzles, which will give you two different types of sound, and you can then adjust and see if you like or not. This obviously if you're not a person like myself, which is inclined to tinkering and playing around and so on and so forth. I've got another EW200, for example, that I have retuned. So the fact that offers those nozzles will give the majority of people then the ability to, let me try exchange nozzle, listen to it. Oh, I like it very much. Okay, so that's straight away a plus point. And then the reality is this. I mean, it's basically the same price. It's got an equally good driver that's got a mix of an LCP and a DLC driver. You know, it's well built, it plays well, it's musical. You can't really, it's, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. This makes more sense to buy over that because they basically are the same value, and the performance is equal and even perhaps better for the most part here. And you know, I think I'm already kind of positioning you guys, you know, the Klean for you guys. It is an IEM that when I compare it to its other, let's say $40 to $50 IEMs, it basically beats them because it offers that little extra amount, not only in terms of its versatility with regards to the tuning, but the tuning with both of the nozzles has been very well executed. So you are able to get an IEM that can be both musical and more relaxed and more organic sounding, if you want to go that road, or then if you want something which is more high energy that will, you know, be best suited for rock or something, or a little bit more high energy music, or if you like J-pop and stuff like that, then and K-pop, then this also does that. While when you are stuck with something which doesn't have the exchangeable nozzles and that's just the tuning there, and then you can't do anything about, then you are somewhat limited, and then, you know, you kind of, okay, it hits the mark for a wide variety of genres, it will satisfy a wide variety of people, or then you just focus on a specific genre and on a specific crowd of people. Okay, and that's exactly what happens with something like the T2 DLC. However much I like the 2 DLC, and I think the T2 DLC is an IM that, you know, is probably one of the better TinHIFis. Its sound is limited to a certain crowd of people who will truly appreciate its highly technical nature. Yes, it's a highly technical nature that still has a certain level of musicality, but this is definitely a more technical IEM. When we're talking about something like the Q5 Pro, you are again getting an IEM that is more versatile because it can do a lot of genres well, but you know, you are basically stuck with the tuning that it has, and there might be occasions where you would have wanted just a little bit more variance, and okay, you can't get it because you don't have any way of doing it. Okay, the same thing applies to the EW200. The Conch is, which is the case many times, it's kind of the outlier. It's that IEM that, because of the price that it has, makes sense straight away, and then it's got those nozzles, and it brings a nice accessories package, so it's an IEM that you can't truly fault it. The only issue here maybe with the Conch, which is unfortunately an issue that TRN sometimes has, is are you going to get a unit which doesn't have any issues in terms of quality control? I've got a few Conchas, to be honest, because I kind of bought a few to play around with them and so on and so forth, and all of them, I mean, are fine. There's no huge driver variance there, nothing. But I know of people that did buy Conchas that didn't exactly fulfill that requirement, that did have some driver variance between left and right channels and so on and so forth. So you have that to keep in mind. Comparing or talking about now actually, let me finish up with those up there. Comparing the Klean to something like the Pula, it's just a better IEM. It's again, like I said, the versatility that it offers just makes more sense over the PA01 compared with the XSL X1. Okay, fine. If we are going to talk purely in terms of the bass, yes, that there's got that little extra amount of bass impactness that this maybe lacks. But music isn't just bass, it's the whole thing. So that IM is an IM that either independent of the nozzle that you're going to use is always going to be more tailored to a specific crowd of people that appreciate a specific type of sound, which is more darker in nature, while this has got way more twinklies and sparklies and will satisfy things which are more detailed overall. So if you like I said, a lot of vocals, a lot of instrumental stuff with you know, cymbals and so on and so forth, and you want them to come across in a, this is the better one. It's not better or worse, it's just the way that it's been tuned, it does that better, so it will probably satisfy more people than what the XSLS one will do. And then coming here to like compared to the Dawn, it's very much the same situation. You're stuck with that tuning, which is a more warmer, more organic type of tuning, and that's it. That's what you get, and okay, fine. You know, you either accept it the way it is or not. In terms of the build quality, they have both. They've got a nice build quality, but I have to admit that I'm a sucker for a metal shell, and so I do prefer the metal shell. And then compared with these front ones, obviously the question that you will, oh, but Tony, what do you think about if I've got the Delci? Does it make sense to buy now the Clean? No, it doesn't. The same way as if you've got the Delci AE, you know, it doesn't make sense to buy the AE. Now, I will tell you this much: if buying a Delci AE is something which is already outside of your financial capabilities, because it is almost $90. No, 80 something dollars, so it is $30 odd more expensive than the Clean, then this will definitely fit the bill. And the reality is the Clean will do very much what the Delci AE can do at a lower value. Is it overall a better or worse IM? No, they are very similar. You will notice there are instances where not only the original Delci AE and more so the Delci, the original Delci, sorry, and the Delci AE will be more elegant, more precise in the way that they do things, but it's not a huge day and night difference. Compared with the Tanchjim for you, and however much it pains me saying this, because I'm a huge Tanchjim fan. If I was to choose between these two, I would choose this one. Yes, the filter here is very nice, the knob to adjust and so on and so forth, it's very nice. But when I listen to the Tanchjim for you and I listen to the Clean, the one thing that becomes very noticeable very quickly is that because they have used the switch, and that means that then the crossover network has introduced extra components to adjust the sound, you notice that there is kind of, how can I explain this? This is, please take this with a grain of salt, what I'm about to say. When you modify a sound profile electronically, which is the case that has been done now countless times by KZ, the IEMs, and to a certain extent, I'm sure that's what they've also been. That's also what they've done here with the PRX. Okay, so when you modify an IM electronically, so with the introduction of components into the path of the signal, those components have electrical characteristics that will obviously change the overall presentation, the overall let's say marriage of components and driver, and that combination can sometimes veil. Okay, and that's where I say take things with a grain of salt. Can sometimes veil the overall sound. On something like the Clean, if there are any components present inside, they are more minimal, and by being more minimal, you have less, let's say, obstructions in the signal path that can take away something from the overall sound presentation. And you know, the adjustments that are made here are made on a mechanical manner. It's the nozzle that changes that. So however much I like the Tanchjim, like I said, choosing between the two, you know, this being $65, almost $70, this being $49, this is the one that makes the most sense, definitely. And then yeah, compared with the with the PRX, and I said it when I reviewed the PRX now yesterday. I mean, the PRX and the Luna are absolutely fantastic planars. Period. Fine, they might not be the epitome of planar of the planar experience. I'm not going to deny it, but they have enough planar genetics to make them really, really good. And when I listened to when I was listening today in more detail to the PRX and then the Clean, there's a lot of similarities. Yes, you are limited by the fact that you are stuck with this tuning, and like I said, I'm almost positive that very much like they've done in other models, they've got a crossover network here which is helping out in creating that curve, in creating that sound profile. While over here, it's more down to the way that it's been tuned than anything. The reality is the PRX or the Luna are two IEMs that I think again makes sense to have in your collection. You know, they are really well worth it. I heard some comments today that were saying, oh, but why not just go and spend more money on an S12 or on this or that IEM and be done with it? Fine, that's a valid, obviously that's a valid comment, but the thing is, we must understand not everybody has got a lot of money, and you know, what might be seemingly nothing for me might be 2 or 3 months of saving for someone else. And you know, if you want to enter the planar experience and you don't have the funds of going to buy something like, let's say, an S15 from Let's Sure or anything of the sort, this will definitely satisfy you, as will the Luna. It's simple, you know. And very much what I've just said about that is again what I'm going to say here about the Clean. You know, I've said this countless times. We are lucky to live in a period where the number of high quality IEMs playing very well is a lot. It's ridiculous. Okay, unfortunately, we have a lot of copy pastes, a lot of things which are just very similar and that don't have enough to differentiate themselves. But yes, there are those IEMs that do stand out here and there, that you know, and ultimately the choice then comes down, like I've said as well before in the past, the choice between the majority of IEMs will be based on things as simple as: do you have exchangeable nozzles? You don't have exchangeable nozzles. Do you have a nice cable? You don't have a nice cable. Do you have a nice build with or you don't have? Those are ultimately the things that will separate and will help you choose. Because look, and again, kind of repeating myself here a little bit, you cannot really go wrong with any one of these IEMs. Every one of these IEMs here will satisfy, more some than others, but they will all satisfy. If I have to kind of, okay, let's exclude a few here, Tony, to make things easier for us. Please tell us which will be the ones that will probably be more fulfilling, more satisfying for the majority, or for a greater scope of people. Okay, the Pandamon is out, probably the XSL is out as well, the T2 will be out, the Pula will be out. I would say the ones that will probably satisfy the more wider range of people, definitely the Q5 Pro, EW200, the Concha, the Clean, obviously, the Delci, the For You, and the PRX. Okay, these will be okay. Then what separates them? What will be the things here that will make me choose one over the other? Well, which ones have got some type of ability to tune the sound? Which ones don't? Okay, these don't, so these two probably are out. The Dawn as well doesn't, so that's out as well. The PRX remains because it's a planar, so we are stuck here with what? The For You, the Delci, the Clean. The Delci is more expensive, so it's more expensive. It doesn't have the tuning nozzle, so I guess, yeah, the Clean will make a little bit more sense over this one. So we are basically stuck here with 3 IEMs now. We've got one at $65 to $70. We've got one here in the mid 30s, and we got here in the 50s. So we got a cheaper, a more expensive, and a middle point here. Which would you choose, Tony? Which would be the one that ultimately you would go for? Well, I think the Concha is phenomenal, but I think the Concha will probably, unless again you want to play around a little bit with the existing nozzles and so on and so forth, but I think the Concha will probably be slightly less polished overall than the Clean. And like I just mentioned about the For You by comparison sounds like it sometimes is slightly veiled. It's got a little veil in front of the sound. and kind of, you know, when you start putting all of these things in the table and excluding this and that, then you can start to understand that, yes, without question, the Klean is an IM that has a lot of potential. It's got a lot of things going for it. But again, I repeat, like I said in the beginning, or I said earlier in my review, that doesn't mean now, oh, now I must go and sell now my 4U and I must buy the Klean because the Klean is now the bomb. No, because, I mean, you might actually put the Klean in your ears and you, oh no, Tony was talking rubbish. He was saying that it was going to eat the 4U alive, and no, it doesn't. You know, or Tony was saying that the 4U, the Klean was a hell of a lot better than the Dawn. But no, I listened to the Dawn and I find the Dawn to be more satisfying to me. So these are all aspects that have to be considered, that you have to take into account. And as myself as a reviewer, it makes my job extremely difficult, because I want to try and be fair. I want to try and be as impartial as possible, but I also try and put myself in your position and say to myself, okay, I'm going to spend money. I've worked hard for this money. I want to get the best value for money, the best bang for my money. And that's what I try and do in every single one of my reviews. I try and give, you know, my impressions or overall on how you should spend that money, or how you should go and now, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. All right, guys. Anyway, I'll be posting the graphs in a second video, so that this one doesn't become that much longer. It's already very long, and also because I wanted to measure a few things a little bit better. But I'm gonna post this straight away. I'm gonna upload this straight away, and any questions you guys might have in the meantime, please let me know. And that's it. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. I want to finally get my channel once and for all into the 10,000 followers. I think that I've paid my dues. I've shown that I'm more than capable, you know, and you know what, I want it. I want 10,000 followers, so help me get there. All right, take care.